We wanted to make sure that we reflected the decency of the American people, reflected the fact that we can disagree without being disagreeable. That's been our goal, not because I'm such a nice guy, but because I think that is why, not because I think that's the only way we're going to be able to build bridges. See, I have objections to how this particular Republican administration has run things, but I believe we've got to attract Republicans. We've got to attract independents. We can't be shouting at each other in order to solve our problems. We are Americans first. We're Republicans and Democrats and independents later. We are Americans first, and we have to remember that. And I've got to admit, North Carolina, that I haven't always seen our philosophy that we started with in the last couple of weeks. Sometimes, you get elbowed enough and folks are throwing stuff at you and you start reacting. And I told my staff the other day, I said, I know we're being goaded into stuff and the press likes to, is he tough enough? He's not hitting back. And I said, but I want us to remember what got us into this race. See, when you start bickering, when you start arguing, when you're worried about superdelegates, when you're worried about tactics, when you're worried about winning, you forget about what the campaign's really about. See, this campaign is not about me. This campaign's not about Hillary Clinton. This campaign's not about John McCain. This campaign is about you. It is about your struggles. It's about your hopes. It's about your dreams. And when we remember that, that's when government works. That's when we can provide relief to that guy in Youngsville who needs health insurance and needs help with his children. That's when you start looking after those workers who've been laid off. Because those jobs, it's not just a matter of income, it's a matter of dignity and respect and the structure of a community that's been lost when that plant closes. That's why, that's when you start really deciding we're serious. We're not just going to give lip service to making every child gets an education. Because that child is our child. That's what this country is about, is making sure that every child has opportunity. That is the spirit in which this campaign started. That is the spirit in which I want to maintain this campaign. So for the next 8 months, for the next 8 days, for the next 8 months, and for the next 8 years, I am going to be thinking about you, your dreams, your hopes, your struggles. And all I ask, what I ask in return is that you stay involved and you stay engaged and you don't get distracted. Now that we have been successful, as we are moving forward, you can see my opponents realize they don't have the better argument. So what they're now saying is, well, I don't know about Obama. We got to know more about him. And he doesn't wear a flag pin, and his former pastor said something, and he's got to, we don't know what his values are. We don't know if he's patriotic. He's got a funny name. Sounds Muslim. That's what's dominated. That is what has dominated political coverage over the last several weeks. So let me just close by telling you a little something. You want to know my values? Let me tell you about my family. My mother had me when she was a teenager. And my father left when I was 2. So I was raised by my mom and my grandparents, who grew up in small towns in Kansas. And they grew up during the Depression. They didn't have a lot. And after Pearl Harbor, my grandfather joined the Army, and went to Europe and fought in Patton's army. And when he came home, he got the GI Bill, and he was able to educate himself because government had put something out there that would give him a little bit of help. And he and my grandmother were able to buy a home through an FHA loan. And my mother, when she became of age, she was able to go to college because of financial aid, even though she was raising a kid at the same time as she was going to work and trying to go to school. And she was able to give me the best education in the world, despite the fact that she wasn't wealthy. And I was able to stand here now as a United States Senator, as a candidate for President of the United States. And my wife has the same story. Michelle's got the same story. She grew up on the south side of Chicago. Her parents never went to college. Mom worked as a secretary. Her dad worked as a city worker. They lived in a tiny little house on the second floor of somebody else's home. But you know, she got the best education in this country had to offer, and she now could end up being the First Lady of the United States. Now here's my point. You want to know what my values are? You want to know about my patriotism? My patriotism is rooted in the fact that my story, Michelle's story, it is not possible anywhere else on earth. That the American dream, despite this country's imperfections, has always been there. That idea that each of us can grab for that dream. Grab for what others might not believe is possible. That there are ladders of opportunity that all of us can climb. That we're all created equal. That we're all endowed with certain inalienable rights. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. That we are willing to defend those liberties. That we are willing to shed blood for those liberties. We're willing to speak out for those liberties. That we are willing to fight to make sure that they are available for the next generation and the generation after that and the generation after that. And we're always making America better. And we're not willing to settle for what the cynics tell us we have to accept. That we can make this country more just and more equal and more prosperous and more unified. That's why I love this country. That's why you love this country. That's what this election's about. That's what we're fighting for. That's why I need you to vote tomorrow and Thursday and Friday and Saturday and Tuesday. And if you will stand with me, we will win this election, and you and I together will transform the country and transform this world. Thank you, everybody. God bless you.